What happens when the most protected woman in Britain becomes the target of an invisible threat? When every security protocol fails and danger lurks just inches away from royalty. This is the true story of how Prince William's quick thinking and a guard's sharp instincts prevented what could have been one of the most shocking incidents in modern royal history. A story where loyalty, betrayal, and family secrets collide on the streets of London, revealing that sometimes the greatest threats come from those closest to the crown. The morning mist hung low over Clarence House as Camilla, the Queen Consort, prepared for what should have been a routine journey through London. The date was October 15th, 2023, and autumn had painted the royal gardens in shades of gold and crimson. Inside the grand residence, staff moved with practiced efficiency, preparing for another day in the carefully orchestrated life of British royalty. Camilla stood before her dressing room mirror, adjusting the pearl necklace that had belonged to Queen Elizabeth II. The weight of the jewelry felt heavier these days, not just physically, but symbolically. Since becoming Queen Consort following Elizabeth's passing, every public appearance carried new significance. Today's schedule included a visit to a children's hospital in East London, followed by a private meeting with charity representatives at Buckingham Palace. "Your Majesty, the car will be ready in 10 minutes, announced Mrs. Patricia Davies, Camilla's long-serving lady-in-waiting. Patricia had been with the royal household for over 15 years, her loyalty never questioned, her discretion absolute. Camilla nodded, glancing once more at her reflection. At 76, she had learned to carry herself with the dignity expected of her position, though privately she sometimes marveled at the journey that had brought her here. From the controversial figure who had once been blamed for the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage, to the Queen Consort, accepted and respected by the British public. Outside, Detective Inspector Marcus Thompson reviewed the security protocols with his team. A veteran of royal protection for 12 years, Marcus had safeguarded everyone from visiting dignitaries to members of Parliament. His weathered face bore the mark of someone who had seen enough to know that danger could emerge from the most unexpected places. Standard route today. He briefed his team of 4 officers. But keep your eyes open. Intelligence suggests some increased chatter about royal movements lately. Nothing specific, but we don't take chances. The royal limousine, a custom Bentley State limousine weighing nearly 4 tons, sat gleaming in the courtyard. Its armor plating could withstand explosive devices, its windows were bulletproof, and its communication systems connected directly to Scotland Yard and MI5. Every detail had been engineered for protection. Yet Marcus knew that the greatest security measure was human vigilance. Driver James Morrison, a former military man with 20 years of royal service, performed his final checks. James had driven for 3 generations of royals, from Prince Philip in his later years to King Charles during his time as Prince of Wales. His hands were steady, his reflexes sharp, and his loyalty unquestioned. At Kensington Palace, 3 miles away, Prince William was concluding his morning briefing about upcoming royal engagements. The Prince of Wales had inherited more than just titles from his grandmother. He had inherited her acute sense of duty and her ability to sense when something wasn't quite right. "Sir, your stepmother's schedule today," his private secretary, David Harrison, mentioned casually while reviewing the day's agenda. William paused, something nagging at his consciousness. Perhaps it was intuition, perhaps the protective instincts that had been honed through years of public life under constant scrutiny. "What's her route today, David?" "Standard protocol, sir. East London hospital visit, then back to Buckingham Palace via the usual route." William frowned slightly. The previous evening, he had received a brief security update about increased online threats against royal family members. Most were dismissed as the usual background noise of monarchy in the digital age, but one detail had stuck with him. A reference to the Queen Consort's Tuesday schedule that had appeared in intercepted communications. Back at Clarence House, Camilla made her way to the courtyard where the limousine waited. The October morning was crisp, and she pulled her coat closer as she approached the vehicle. Detective Inspector Thompson opened the door, scanning the surroundings one final time before she entered. "Good morning, Marcus." Camilla greeted him with the warmth she had become known for with her protection team. "Good morning, Your Majesty. We should arrive at the hospital in approximately 35 minutes, traffic permitting." As Camilla settled into the luxurious interior, James Morrison started the engine. The Bentley's V8 engine purred to life, and the convoy of 3 vehicles began to move. In a lead car, 2 armed officers kept watch. Behind the royal limousine, another protection vehicle followed at a precise distance. The route through London took them past landmarks steeped in history. They passed Buckingham Palace, where tourists already gathered despite the early hour, their cameras ready to capture any glimpse of royalty. The morning traffic was building, and James navigated with the skill of someone who knew London's streets like his own home. In the passenger compartment, Camilla reviewed her notes for the hospital visit. She would be meeting with young patients in the pediatric ward, officially opening a new wing dedicated to mental health support for children. These visits were among her favorites, far removed from the formal ceremonies and state functions that filled much of her calendar. Detective Inspector Thompson sat in the front passenger seat, his eyes constantly moving between mirrors and the street ahead. His radio crackled occasionally with updates from the lead car and the following vehicle. Everything was proceeding normally, yet he couldn't shake a feeling of unease that had been growing since they left Clarence House. "James, take the next left," Thompson instructed, deviating slightly from the planned route. It was a precaution he sometimes employed, varying the path to make any potential threats more difficult to predict. As they turned into a quieter street lined with Georgian townhouses, Thompson's radio buzzed. "Control to Royal One. Be advised we have reports of suspicious individual near your destination. Nothing confirmed, but maintain heightened awareness." The message sent a ripple of tension through the protection team, though they maintained their professional calm. In the back seat, Camilla continued reading, unaware of the communication that had just changed the dynamic of their journey. Meanwhile, Prince William was experiencing an increasing sense of unease. He found himself repeatedly checking his phone, waiting for he didn't know what. His military training had taught him to trust his instincts, and those instincts were telling him something was wrong. "David, give me Detective Inspector Thompson on the line," William instructed his private secretary. "Certainly, sir. May I ask the reason?" William paused, knowing how his request might sound. "Just a feeling. Sometimes that's all we have to go on." As the royal limousine continued through London streets, none of the occupants were aware that their journey was being monitored by someone with intimate knowledge of royal protocols. Someone who had planned meticulously for this moment, exploiting a weakness in the security arrangements that no one had anticipated. The threat wasn't coming from outside the royal circle. It was coming from within, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In the careful choreography of royal protection, one element had been compromised, and the consequences were about to unfold in ways that would shake the monarchy to its core. Thompson's radio crackled again. "Royal One, we have eyes on your route. All appears normal, but remain vigilant." But normal was exactly what they weren't dealing with, though they wouldn't realize it until it was almost too late. The trap had been set with precision, exploiting the one factor that security experts often overlooked: the human element, and the devastating power of betrayal from those trusted most. As the limousine approached a busy intersection, Detective Inspector Thompson noticed something that made his blood run cold. In his peripheral vision, he caught a movement that didn't belong, a shadow where there should have been none. His hand instinctively moved toward his radio, but before he could speak, the first phase of the threat was about to reveal itself. The morning that had begun with royal routine was about to become a day that would be remembered in the annals of royal security as the day when everything they thought they knew about protection protocols was challenged by an enemy hiding in plain sight. Detective Inspector Marcus Thompson's hand froze halfway to his radio as his trained eye caught something that sent ice through his veins. In the reflection of a shop window as they passed, he had glimpsed a figure that seemed to be moving with their convoy, maintaining perfect pace with the royal limousine. Not running, not obviously following, but moving with the kind of synchronized precision that could only come from someone who knew exactly where they were going. And when the figure disappeared behind a row of parked cars, but Thompson's instincts were screaming danger. In 12 years of royal protection, he had learned to distinguish between coincidence and threat, and this felt like the latter. His eyes swept the street more intently now, looking for patterns that didn't belong. James slowed down slightly. Thompson instructed the driver, testing his theory. If someone was shadowing them, a change in speed would reveal their presence. James Morrison, without questioning the instruction, eased off the accelerator. The limousine's speed dropped from 35 to 28 miles per hour. Thompson watched the mirrors carefully, and his worst fears were confirmed. A figure on foot adjusted their pace accordingly, maintaining the same relative position to their convoy. In the back seat, Camilla noticed a change in speed, but assumed it was traffic-related. She was reviewing the names of the hospital staff she would meet, making notes in the margins of her briefing papers. The autumn sunlight filtered through the bulletproof windows, creating patterns on the leather upholstery. Thompson's radio crackled to life. "Royal One, this is Shadow 2. We're picking up some unusual movement on parallel streets. Someone seems to be tracking your route from multiple positions." The blood drained from Thompson's face. Multiple positions meant coordination. Coordination meant planning. Planning meant this wasn't a random threat, but a carefully orchestrated operation. He had to make a decision quickly. "James, take the next right." Emergency deviation protocol. The driver's response was immediate and professional. Without hesitation, James swung the heavy limousine into a sharp right turn, departing from their planned route. The lead car and following vehicle adapted instantly, maintaining their protective formation around the royal vehicle. "Your Majesty," Thompson said, turning toward the passenger compartment while keeping his voice calm and controlled. "We're making a minor route adjustment for security reasons. Nothing to be concerned about, but I wanted to inform you." Camilla looked up from her papers, her expression showing mild curiosity rather than alarm. After decades in the public eye, first as the companion of the heir to the throne and now as queen consort, she had experienced numerous security protocols. "Of course, Marcus, whatever you think is best." But Thompson's concerns were escalating rapidly. His radio buzzed again, this time with information that made his stomach clench. "Royal One, we've identified at least 3 individuals who appear to be coordinating their movements with your convoy. Recommend immediate implementation of Safeguard Protocol." Safeguard Protocol meant abandoning the public engagement and returning immediately to a secure location. It was a decision that required significant justification, as canceling royal appearances created diplomatic complications and disappointed the public institutions expecting the visit. Meanwhile, Prince William's sense of unease had intensified to the point where he couldn't concentrate on his scheduled meetings. His private secretary, David Harrison, noticed the prince's distraction as they reviewed correspondence about upcoming state visits. "Sir, you seem troubled. Is there something I can help with?" William set down the document he had been pretending to read for the past 10 minutes. "David, I need you to contact Detective Inspector Thompson immediately, not through standard channels. Call his direct mobile number." "Sir, if I may ask, is there a specific concern?" "Just do it, please. And quickly." David Harrison had worked with the royal family long enough to recognize when intuition was speaking louder than protocol. He immediately reached for his secure phone to place the call. Back in the limousine, Thompson was analyzing the tactical situation rapidly. The deviation from their original route should have confused any amateur stalkers, but his radio continued to report coordinated movement by the mysterious figures. This suggested they were dealing with professionals who had prepared for multiple scenarios. "James, I need you to increase speed and head towards Safe House Delta," Thompson instructed, using the code name for a secure location in central London where royal family members could be taken in emergency situations. As the limousine accelerated, Camilla sensed the change in atmosphere. The vehicle's acceleration pressed her back in her seat, and she noticed Thompson speaking more urgently into his radio. Her years of experience with security protocols told her this was no routine adjustment. "Marcus, is there a genuine threat?" she asked directly, her voice maintaining its characteristic calm despite the circumstances. Thompson faced a decision about how much to reveal. Royal family members were briefed on security matters, but the full extent of potential threats was often filtered to prevent unnecessary alarm. However, the Queen Consort had proven herself to be remarkably composed under pressure. "Your Majesty, we're tracking some individuals whose behavior suggests possible hostile intent. As a precaution, we're moving to a secure location where we can assess the situation properly." Camilla nodded, understanding the implications immediately. "The hospital visit will need to be postponed, I'm afraid." At that moment, Thompson's mobile phone rang. The caller ID showed it was Prince William's private secretary. Thompson hesitated for a split second, then answered while keeping his eyes on the street ahead. "Thompson here. Detective Inspector, this is David Harrison calling on behalf of Prince William. His Royal Highness has requested immediate confirmation of the Queen Consort's security status." The call confirmed Thompson's worst fears. If Prince William's instincts had also been triggered, it meant the threat was real and significant. Royal family members didn't develop their protective instincts without reason. "Mr. Harrison, please inform His Royal Highness that we are implementing precautionary security measures. The Queen Consort is safe, but we are deviating from scheduled activities." "Understood, Detective Inspector." His Royal Highness requests to be kept informed of developments. As Thompson ended the call, his radio exploded with urgent communications. "Royal One, this is Control. We have confirmed visual on at least 5 individuals who appear to be part of a coordinated surveillance operation. Additionally, we're picking up encrypted radio communications on frequencies that suggest professional-grade equipment." The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place in the most terrifying way possible. This wasn't a random security threat or an amateur stalker. They were dealing with a sophisticated operation that had somehow obtained detailed information about royal movements, security protocols, and communication frequencies. "James, execute evasive driving pattern 7, Thompson ordered. The limousine suddenly began a series of unpredictable movements, changing lanes, varying speed, and taking unexpected turns. The maneuvers were designed to confuse surveillance and test whether they were truly being followed by professionals. In the passenger compartment, Camilla gripped the armrest as the vehicle swayed through the evasive movements. Despite her composed exterior, she could feel her heart rate increasing. The reality of the situation was becoming clear, and she understood that whatever was happening was far more serious than a routine security adjustment. Thompson's radio crackled with the voice of the lead car. "Royal One, confirmed hostile surveillance. Multiple vehicles now visible maintaining pursuit despite evasive action. Recommend immediate implementation of Emergency Protocol 7. Emergency Protocol 7 was the highest level of security response short of a direct attack. It meant treating the situation as a credible, immediate threat to royal safety. Thompson's mind raced through the implications and the required responses. "Control, this is Royal One requesting immediate backup. We need armed response units and air support. Implement Emergency Protocol 7 effective immediately." The radio communications that followed created a flurry of activity across London's security apparatus. Within minutes, unmarked police vehicles began converging on the area, helicopter units prepared for deployment, and secure locations throughout the city were placed on high alert. But even as these resources mobilized, Thompson realized they were facing a sophisticated adversary who had somehow penetrated the normally impenetrable world of royal security. The coordination of the surveillance, the professional-grade equipment, and the detailed knowledge of routes suggested something far more troubling than external threats. The enemy might already be inside the system, which meant every protocol, every safe house, and every planned response could potentially be compromised. As the limousine raced through London's streets with its precious cargo, Thompson understood that they were not just running from immediate danger, but from a conspiracy that reached into the very heart of the institution they were sworn to protect. The morning's routine journey had become a desperate race against an enemy that remained hidden in shadows, an enemy that knew them almost as well as they knew themselves. And somewhere in the careful choreography of royal protection, a betrayal was about to reveal itself in the most shocking way possible. The limousine sped through London's increasingly congested streets as Emergency Protocol 7 transformed the city's security landscape. Unmarked police units materialized from seemingly nowhere, creating a protective corridor around the royal convoy. Detective Inspector Thompson coordinated the response through his radio while his eyes never stopped scanning for threats. Control to Royal One. We have helicopters airborne and armed response units positioning along multiple routes to Safe House Delta, came the professional voice through the radio static. But Thompson's relief was short-lived. His radio crackled again, this time with information that sent a chill down his spine. Royal One, be advised that encrypted communications we've been monitoring include references to Safe House Delta's location and security protocols. Recommend alternative destination. Thompson's blood ran cold. Safe House Delta was classified at the highest levels of royal protection. Only a handful of people within the security apparatus knew its location and access codes. If those details had been compromised, it meant the security breach went far deeper than anyone had imagined. James, abort route to Delta. Head toward backup location Epsilon. Thompson instructed, using a code for an alternative safe house that was known to an even smaller circle of security personnel. In the passenger compartment, Queen Consort Camilla maintained her composure despite the increasingly obvious severity of the situation. The limousine's erratic movements and the urgency in Thompson's voice made it clear that this was no routine security precaution. Meanwhile, Prince William's anxiety had reached the point where he couldn't remain passive. Against protocol, he instructed his driver to head toward the general area where Camilla's convoy was operating. "Sir, I must advise against this course of action," his protection officer, Detective Sergeant Richards, protested. "If there's a credible threat against royal family members, the safest action is to remain in secure locations." "I understand your concerns, Richards, but I'm not sitting in an office while my stepmother faces unknown dangers. We'll maintain a safe distance, but I want to be close enough to respond if needed." As Prince William's convoy entered London's traffic, a devastating realization was about to unfold within the royal protection apparatus. In the command center coordinating the security response, Chief Inspector Sarah Mitchell was reviewing the personnel list of everyone with access to the compromised information about Safe House Delta. The list was disturbingly short. 12 names, each representing individuals who had undergone the most rigorous background checks in British security services. Each person had dedicated years, sometimes decades, to protecting the royal family. The possibility that one of them had betrayed their oath was almost unthinkable. But as Chief Inspector Mitchell cross-referenced the personnel records with recent intelligence reports about increased chatter regarding royal movements, a pattern began to emerge. One name appeared in connection with circumstances that, individually, seemed innocent but collectively suggested something more sinister. Back in the limousine, Thompson received another radio update that made the situation even more complex. "Royal One, we've identified the source of leaked information. The breach appears to be internal, originating from someone with Level Alpha security clearance. Level Alpha clearance was reserved for the inner circle of royal protection. Thompson himself held that clearance, as did fewer than 20 individuals across the entire security apparatus. The realization that they were dealing with betrayal from within their own ranks was devastating. Camilla overheard enough of the radio conversation to understand the implications. "Marcus, are you telling me that someone within our own security team is responsible for this threat?" Thompson hesitated before answering, knowing that confirming her suspicions would shatter her faith in the system designed to protect her. "Your Majesty, we're investigating all possibilities, but yes, it appears the security breach originated from within our organization. The weight of that revelation hung in the air. For members of the royal family, their protection officers were more than employees. They were trusted confidants who shared intimate moments of their lives. The idea that one of them could be a threat was personally devastating as well as professionally catastrophic. Thompson's radio burst to life with urgent communications. All units, be advised that we have positive identification on the source of the security breach. The individual is currently mobile and may be attempting to intercept Royal One. Control, this is Royal One. Requesting immediate identification of the compromised individual. There was a pause that seemed to last forever, filled only with the hum of the limousine's engine and the distant sound of helicopter rotors overhead. When the response came, it shattered Thompson's understanding of everything he thought he knew about royal security. Royal One. The compromised individual is Inspector Patricia Davies, currently listed as Lady-in-Waiting to Her Majesty the Queen Consort. Thompson's world stopped. Patricia Davies had been in Camilla's service for over 15 years. She had been present during the most intimate royal moments, had access to private schedules, personal conversations, and family dynamics. Her betrayal wasn't just a security breach. It was a violation of trust that cut to the heart of the royal family's private world. Your Majesty, Thompson said, turning toward the passenger compartment with one of the most difficult conversations of his career ahead of him. I need to inform you that Patricia Davies has been identified as the source of our security compromise. The color drained from Camilla's face. Patricia had been more than a lady-in-waiting. She had been a trusted friend and confidant. They had shared conversations about family concerns, personal worries, and private moments that Camilla had never imagined could be used against her. Patricia? Camilla's voice was barely a whisper. That's impossible. She's been with me for 15 years. She knows my grandchildren. She attended my wedding to Charles. But even as Camilla protested, pieces of recent events began to fall into place. Patricia's unusually detailed questions about security arrangements. Her insistence on reviewing schedule changes. Small inconsistencies in her behavior that had seemed innocent at the time, but now appeared sinister in retrospect. Thompson's radio provided more devastating details. Royal One. Be advised that Inspector Davies has been in communication with unknown individuals using encrypted devices. We believe she has been providing detailed intelligence about royal movements, security protocols, and personal schedules for an extended period. The scope of the betrayal was becoming clear. This wasn't a recent development or a moment of weakness. Patricia Davies had been systematically betraying the royal family's trust for what could have been months or even years. Every private conversation, every family moment, every security detail had potentially been compromised. Control. What is Davies' current location? Thompson asked, though he dreaded the answer. Royal One. Inspector Davies departed Clarence House approximately 15 minutes after your convoy left this morning. Her current location is unknown, but her mobile device was last detected moving toward her general area. The implication was terrifying. Patricia Davies knew their route, their destination, and their security protocols. She had enough information to coordinate an attack with devastating precision. But more than that, she knew Camilla personally, her habits, her preferences, her vulnerabilities. Prince William's convoy was now within 2 miles of Camilla's location when his protection officer received an urgent communication. Prince William's detail, be advised that we have a credible threat against the Queen Consort coordinated by someone with intimate knowledge of royal security. Recommend immediate withdrawal to secure location. But William's response was immediate and decisive. Negative. We're going to help. Coordinate our position with Detective Inspector Thompson. As the 2 royal convoys began to converge, Thompson faced decisions that would define the rest of his career. The safe house locations had been compromised. The security protocols had been breached. And somewhere in London, a woman who had shared 15 years of the Queen Consort's most private moments was working with unknown enemies to harm the woman who had trusted her completely. Thompson's radio crackled one more time with information that made the situation even more desperate. Royal One, intelligence suggests that the operation against Her Majesty is planned to occur within the next 30 minutes. The timeline indicates that Inspector Davies' intelligence was used to plan a specific window of vulnerability. As the limousine raced through London streets, protected by an ever-expanding security perimeter, but still vulnerable to a threat that knew their every move, Thompson understood that they were fighting not just against external enemies, but against the devastating power of betrayal from within. The woman they were trying to protect had been betrayed by someone she considered family, and that betrayal had created a security nightmare that could cost Camilla her life. The next few minutes would determine whether years of security planning and training could overcome the advantages given to their enemies by someone who knew them better than they knew themselves. The revelation of Patricia Davies' betrayal sent shockwaves through London's Security Command Center. Chief Inspector Sarah Mitchell coordinated the response while grappling with the implications of a 15-year security breach. Every royal movement, every family conversation, every intimate detail of the Queen Consort's life had potentially been compromised by someone they had trusted completely. Detective Inspector Thompson's radio erupted with urgent updates. Royal One, we have visual confirmation of Inspector Davies' vehicle. She's driving a black Mercedes sedan, registration number being transmitted now. Vehicle is approximately 8 minutes from your current position and closing. The tactical situation was deteriorating rapidly. Patricia Davies knew not only where they were heading, but also understood their security protocols well enough to predict their responses. She had helped develop some of those protocols during her years of service, making her one of the most dangerous opponents they could face. James increased speed and prepare for evasive action. Thompson instructed while studying the GPS display that showed Patricia's vehicle converging on their route. Control, what do we know about Davies' associates in this operation? Royal One, intelligence suggests she's working with at least 4 other individuals, identity unknown. They appear to have military or intelligence training based on their operational coordination. In the passenger compartment, Queen Consort Camilla struggled to process the reality of Patricia's betrayal. Memories flooded her mind, Patricia helping her prepare for her wedding to Charles, comforting her during difficult family moments, sharing quiet conversations about grandchildren and personal concerns. The woman who had been like a sister to her had been systematically betraying her trust. Marcus, what could Patricia possibly hope to gain from this? Camilla asked, her voice reflecting the pain of personal betrayal rather than fear for her physical safety. Thompson hesitated before answering, understanding that his response would affect how Camilla viewed not just Patricia, but the entire security apparatus around her. Your Majesty, we don't yet know her motivations. But, given the sophistication of this operation, we suspect significant financial compensation or ideological pressure. Meanwhile, Prince William's convoy was closing in on Camilla's position despite his protection officers' continued protests. Detective Sergeant Richards maintained radio communication with Thompson's team while expressing his concerns about the prince's safety. Sir, we're entering an active threat zone. I strongly recommend we maintain a safe distance and allow the protection specialist to handle this situation. William's response reflected the decisive nature that would serve him well as future king. Richards, my stepmother is in danger from someone she trusted. I won't abandon family when they need protection. Coordinate our position with Thompson, but we're not retreating. Back in the command center, Chief Inspector Mitchell was piecing together the timeline of Patricia Davies' betrayal. Financial records showed unusual deposits into offshore accounts over the past 18 months. Communication intercepts revealed coded conversations that had initially been dismissed as innocent but now appeared to be intelligence transfers. All units, be advised that we're dealing with a long-term intelligence operation, Mitchell broadcast to the field teams. Inspector Davies has likely been providing information for over a year. Assume that all standard security protocols have been compromised. Thompson's blood ran cold as he understood the full implications. Every safe house location, every emergency procedure, every backup plan had potentially been leaked to hostile forces. They were operating without the security nets that royal protection had relied upon for decades. The limousine's route took them through increasingly congested London streets as the morning traffic reached its peak. Thompson realized that the timing wasn't coincidental. Patricia would have known that this hour would limit their maneuvering options and create opportunities for a coordinated attack. Royal One, this is Control. Satellite imagery shows Patricia Davies' vehicle has stopped approximately 4 blocks from your current position. She appears to be coordinating with other vehicles in the area. Thompson's tactical mind raced through the possibilities. If Patricia was stationary, it meant the trap was being finalized. Her associates were likely positioning themselves for a coordinated assault that would take advantage of their intimate knowledge of royal security protocols. James, we need to break our pattern completely. Forget all standard evasive procedures and start improvising. Driver James Morrison understood immediately. Standard procedures had been compromised, so survival depended on actions that Patricia couldn't predict. He swung the limousine into an unexpected U-turn, heading back towards central London rather than toward any known safe location. Camilla felt the dramatic change in direction and understood that their situation had reached a critical point. Marcus, are we now essentially on our own? Not entirely, Your Majesty. We have air support and armed response units, but yes, we're operating outside our normal security framework. Thompson's radio crackled with an update that changed everything. Royal One, Prince William's convoy is requesting permission to join your route. His Royal Highness believes he can provide additional protection resources. The request created a tactical dilemma. Having 2 members of the royal family in the same danger zone violated every principle of royal security. But it also meant doubling their protection resources and creating unpredictability that their enemies couldn't plan for. Control, what is your assessment of combining the convoys? Chief Inspector Mitchell's voice came through the radio with careful consideration. Royal One, it violates protocol, but given that our protocols have been compromised, unconventional tactics may be our best option. Approved for convoy merger. As the 2 royal convoys began converging, Patricia Davies' 15 years of insider knowledge was about to face the unpredictability of family loyalty and improvised tactics. Her carefully laid plans had accounted for security protocols, but they hadn't accounted for Prince William's determination to protect his stepmother. Thompson's radio provided a crucial update. Royal One, we have intercepted communications between Davies and her associates. They appear confused by her route changes and the addition of Prince William's convoy. Their coordination is breaking down. For the first time since the crisis began, Thompson felt a glimmer of hope. Professional criminals and intelligence operatives were trained to handle predictable security responses, but they struggled with chaos and improvisation. Control, what is the status of armed response units? Royal One, armed teams are positioning at multiple points along potential routes. We're creating a security net that doesn't depend on compromised safe house locations. In Patricia Davies' Mercedes sedan, the woman who had betrayed 15 years of trust was experiencing the first doubts about her mission. The royal convoy's unpredictable movements had disrupted the careful timing of the operation. Her associates were demanding explanations she couldn't provide. Patricia's radio crackled with increasingly frustrated voices. Target vehicle has deviated from all predicted routes. What are your current intelligence recommendations? For the first time in over a year of betraying royal secrets, Patricia Davies found herself without answers. The family she had betrayed was proving more resourceful and unpredictable than she had calculated. Meanwhile, Prince William's convoy had closed to within a quarter mile of Camilla's limousine. The prince's determination to protect his stepmother was about to create tactical opportunities that no amount of insider knowledge could have predicted. Thompson's radio delivered the update he had been hoping for. Royal One, Patricia Davies' vehicle appears to be withdrawing from the area. Her associates are also dispersing. The operation appears to be aborting. But Thompson knew that withdrawal didn't mean safety. Patricia Davies still possessed years of royal intelligence, and her associates remained at large. The immediate threat might be receding, but the long-term security implications were devastating. The woman who had helped raise Camilla's stepchildren, who had been present at intimate family gatherings, who had been trusted with the most private details of royal life, had revealed herself as an enemy. And somewhere in London's sprawling metropolis, she was disappearing back into the shadows, carrying secrets that could threaten the royal family for years to come. The immediate crisis was subsiding, but Detective Inspector Thompson knew that Patricia Davies' withdrawal was tactical rather than a complete defeat. Her years of insider knowledge represented a long-term security threat that would require fundamental changes to royal protection protocols. As the two royal convoys finally merged in a secure area of central London, Thompson coordinated the next phase of response. Control, this is Royal One. Both royal family members are secure, but we need immediate implementation of Protocol Omega, Thompson radioed, using the code for complete security overhaul procedures. Protocol Omega hadn't been activated since the early days following Princess Diana's death, when security procedures underwent radical revision. It meant assuming that every current protocol was compromised and rebuilding royal protection from the ground up. Prince William's limousine pulled alongside Camilla's in the secure courtyard of a building that wasn't on any published list of royal safe houses. As the prince stepped out and approached his stepmother's vehicle, his expression reflected both relief and determination. "Camilla, are you all right?" William asked as she emerged from the armored limousine, his voice carrying the protective instincts that had been evident since childhood. "I'm fine, William, though I'm struggling to understand how someone I trusted could." Her voice trailed off as the emotional impact of Patricia's betrayal overwhelmed her composure for the first time during the crisis. William placed a supportive hand on her shoulder. "We'll figure this out together. But right now, we need to focus on ensuring this can never happen again." Chief Inspector Sarah Mitchell arrived at the secure location within 20 minutes, accompanied by representatives from MI5 and the highest levels of government security. The scope of Patricia Davies' betrayal required coordination across multiple agencies and complete reassessment of royal protection vulnerabilities. "Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness," Mitchell addressed both royals with the gravity the situation demanded. "We're dealing with one of the most significant security breaches in modern royal protection history. Patricia Davies had access to information that compromises not just immediate safety, but long-term security protocols." Thompson joined the briefing, his experience during the morning's crisis making him a crucial voice in planning the response. The sophistication of this operation suggests state-level involvement or professional criminal organizations with significant resources. Patricia's betrayal provided them with intelligence that money alone couldn't buy. The investigation that followed would reveal the devastating extent of Patricia Davies' 15-year intelligence operation. Bank records showed payments totaling over £2 million from offshore accounts linked to organizations hostile to British interests. Communication intercepts revealed that she had been providing detailed intelligence about royal family dynamics, personal relationships, security weaknesses, and private conversations. But the most shocking discovery came when investigators analyzed the timing of her intelligence transfers. Patricia had been providing information during some of the royal family's most vulnerable moments, during periods of illness, family crises, and private celebrations. Her betrayal hadn't just compromised security, it had violated the most intimate aspects of royal family life. In the secure briefing room, MI5 analyst Dr. Rebecca Harrison presented findings that chilled everyone present. Patricia Davies' intelligence gathering was systematic and comprehensive. She documented personal habits, family relationships, security routines, and emotional vulnerabilities. This information could be used for blackmail, manipulation, or future attacks for decades to come. Queen Consort Camilla listened to the briefings with growing horror as the scope of Patricia's betrayal became clear. She was present during conversations with my grandchildren. She knew about family health concerns, private worries, personal relationships. How do we protect the family from information that's already been compromised? The question highlighted the unique challenge posed by insider threats within royal security. External enemies could be defended against with physical barriers and surveillance, but Patricia Davies had been given access to the emotional and psychological landscape of the royal family. Prince William's response reflected the leadership qualities that would serve him as future monarch. We rebuild everything. Every protocol, every procedure, every relationship gets reassessed. And we ensure that no single individual ever again has the level of access that Patricia exploited. The manhunt for Patricia Davies and her associates intensified over the following hours. Intelligence agencies coordinated with international partners to track the offshore accounts and identify the organizations that had been receiving royal intelligence. But Patricia herself had vanished with the skill of someone who had been planning her disappearance for months. Detective Inspector Thompson worked with security specialists to develop new protocols that would prevent similar breaches. The recommendations were radical: rotating security assignments, compartmentalizing information access, implementing technological monitoring of all personnel with royal access, and creating redundant verification systems for all security decisions. 3 days after the crisis, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Patricia Davies contacted MI5 through an intermediary, requesting negotiations for her surrender. The woman who had betrayed 15 years of trust was apparently having second thoughts about the path she had chosen. The meeting was arranged in a neutral location with guarantees for her safety during negotiations. When Patricia finally faced the investigators, she appeared dramatically different from the composed lady-in-waiting who had served the queen consort. Stress and guilt had taken their toll, aging her visibly and eroding the confident demeanor she had maintained for years. "I never intended for anyone to be physically harmed." Patricia's first words revealed both the depth of her betrayal and her remaining humanity. "The information I provided was supposed to be used for intelligence gathering, not violence." Chief Inspector Mitchell's response was professional but unforgiving. "Patricia, you provided intelligence about royal family members to hostile organizations for over a year. The potential for harm was inherent in every piece of information you transmitted." The interrogation that followed revealed a complex web of financial pressure, ideological manipulation, and gradual corruption that had transformed Patricia from trusted servant to dangerous enemy. Her initial contact with hostile agents had begun innocuously. Casual conversations that gradually became more specific, financial support that started small but grew substantial, and requests for information that seemed harmless but accumulated into comprehensive intelligence. "They knew exactly how to approach me," Patricia explained, though her words sounded like rationalization rather than genuine remorse. "They understood my financial pressures, my political views, my personal vulnerabilities. By the time I realized what I was involved in, I was too deep to withdraw safely." The psychological manipulation described by Patricia provided crucial intelligence about how hostile organizations targeted royal staff. The approach had been sophisticated, patient, and precisely calibrated to exploit individual weaknesses while maintaining plausible deniability. Queen Consort Camilla requested a private meeting with Patricia before her arrest and prosecution. Against the advice of security specialists, she insisted on confronting the woman who had betrayed not just security protocols, but personal trust built over 15 years. The meeting lasted only 10 minutes, but it provided closure that both women needed. Camilla's words were measured but devastating in their simplicity. "Patricia, you weren't just my employee, you were my friend. You shared moments with my family that we can never reclaim. That betrayal hurts more than any security threat ever could." Patricia's response revealed the full weight of her guilt. "Your Majesty, I know that nothing I can say will repair the damage I've caused. But I want you to know that the person you trusted for 15 years was real. The woman who cared about your family was genuine. I lost my way, but those feelings were never false. The resolution of the Patricia Davies crisis led to the most comprehensive overhaul of royal security in decades. New protocols ensured that no individual would ever again have the level of access that Patricia had exploited. Technology was implemented to monitor communications and financial activities of all royal staff. Background checks were expanded and repeated regularly. But perhaps most importantly, the crisis reinforced the bonds within the royal family itself. Prince William's decision to risk his own safety to protect his stepmother demonstrated the strength of family loyalty that no amount of insider intelligence could undermine. Queen Consort Camilla's grace under pressure and her willingness to confront her betrayer directly showed the resilience that would serve her well in her royal role. The woman who had hidden in the shadows of royal life, collecting secrets and betraying trust, was finally brought into the light. Patricia Davies pleaded guilty to charges related to espionage and breach of official secrets, receiving a 15-year prison sentence that matched the duration of her betrayal. The royal family emerged from the crisis stronger and more secure, having learned that their greatest protection came not from protocols and procedures, but from the unbreakable bonds of family loyalty and the courage to face threats together, no matter how close to home those threats might originate.